Good afternoon, welcome. Pam? I forgot, are you ready? Yes, good. Pam, would you please note everybody is present with the exception of Judge Haggerty, who is out of town today?
Haggerty and who?
1.4, approval of minutes. None. Okay. 1.5. I'd like to welcome everyone to our, God, it's already February, almost March, board meeting. Thank you all for taking the time and being here this evening. Under open forum 1.6, has anyone registered? No one registered? Would anyone like to address the, oh, I think I would like to address I apologize.
The flag.
Ms. Tucker, would you mind leading us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, now we can go into open forum, Pam. Is anyone here to address the audience and the board? Going once, going twice. Welcome Superintendent Cabrera, Board Chair Ms. Fendenbach. Thank you all for being here. Yes. Okay. I want to make a motion that we go into executive session, please. Pam, can you please read it?
Second.
Thank you.
The Board of Trustees may conduct an executive or closed session pursuant to Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code for one or more of the following reasons. One, consultation with its attorneys to seek or receive legal advice or consultation regarding pending or contemplated litigation or for any purpose authorized by law. Two, discussion about the value or transfer of real property. Three, discussion about a prospective gift or donation. Four, consideration of specific personnel matters. Five, discussion about security, personnel, or devices. Or six, discussion of certain economic development matters. The board may also announce that it will go into executive session on any item listed on this agenda if the subject matter is permitted for a closed session by provisions of Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code. Any vote regarding these items shall be taken in open session.
Te abro tu ese. Déjame, dámelo y te lo abro.
Okay.
Okay, Pam, would you please call us back?
The time is 6:06 PM and the board is now reconvened in regular session.
Okay, I'd like to bring up item 1.9.2. The motion is for the sale of college property to the El Paso Independent School District for educational purposes situated at 1,100 and 1,014 North Stanton, El Paso, Texas, for the amount of $3.2 million. Execution of final document, we are authorizing Dr. William Serrata to sign. Any questions? No?
Mrs. Robles,
Aye.
Mr. Uxer,
Aye.
Ms. Solis. Mrs. Quintanilla,
Aye.
Dr. Graham,
Aye.
Mr. Fierro.
Aye. Okay.
Go back
Alright,
to item
1.7.
1.7. Item 1.7, presentations by individuals, groups, and organizations. Item 1.7.1, Dr. William Serrata, College President, will recognize individuals who have retired from the college district.
As Dr. Sonata walks that way, I'd like to thank everyone for your patience.
Chair Fierro, members of the board, I would like to begin by recognizing Ms. Maria Valdespino. If you can come up and join me, please. Ms. Valdespino is being recognized today for 19 years of service at El Paso Community College. She first began working part-time in the testing center in February 1998, and in August 1999 began her career as a full-time employee in the financial aid intake program as a clerk. Soon after, Ms. Valdespino became a financial aid specialist in 2008. In her capacity as specialist, Ms. Valdespino worked with the financial aid intake area for 4 years and assisted in the financial aid technical area for 4 years. Most recently, she assisted in the financial aid special programs area. After retirement, Ms. Valdespino plans on enjoying her family and especially her grandson. We sincerely thank Ms. Valdespino for her devotion to financial aid office and the students she served. El Paso Community College and the financial aid office wish her the best on her retirement and the next chapter in her life. Thank you so much for your service.
Thank you for all the time.
Ms. Nancy Tharp, would you please join me? Ms. Tharp was hired by El Paso Community College in 1998 to work in the safety office as a part-time clerk because of her computer skills, knowledge of first aid, and the ability to train others. These were skills developed by working with the Boy Scouts of America as an active member of the Church of Jesus Christ Latter-day Saints. When the safety office became a part of auxiliary services and then was later moved under the direction of the EPCC Police Department, Ms. Tharp continued part-time to provide training, workstation analysis, safety inspections, first aid supplies, coordination of the chemical waste disposal, and the fire warden program. In 2011, she was offered the full-time position of risk manager, and the Office of Risk Management and Safety was created to include workers' compensation. Ms. Tharp welcomed the challenge and has enjoyed being able to work and associate with the many wonderful employees of the college and helping them become proactive with safety. She coined the slogan, "At EPCC, we take safety home," to help employees remember how valued they are. She became a member of the Texas chapter of Public Risk Management Association in 2008, was a co-presenter several times, and assisted as a moderator in between. She earned her Certificate School Risk Manager designation in 2010 and has kept her certification current. Presently, she serves as Secretary of the Professional Staff Association at EPCC. She's looking forward to being able to spend more time with John, their 4 children, and their 7 grandchildren living near and far. She sincerely hopes everyone at EPCC will stay safe at work and will remember to take safety home. We wish you the best in the next chapter of her life and hope she especially stays safe and enjoys good health. Thank you so much for your service, Ms. Tharp.
Enjoy your retirement. I have. That's right. How long have you been retired? How long? About 12 years. 12 years? Goes by fast. Yes. Very fast. You better start thinking. Bueno, pero. Yeah. Pretty soon.
And finally, I'd like to ask Ms. Guadalupe D. Nieto, Lupe Nieto, to please join me. Ms. Lupe Nieto is retiring after 37 years of service at El Paso Community College. Yeah, absolutely. Yes. She began her career at the Logan Heights campus as a work-study before being hired full-time as a clerk in the scheduling department, where she worked for 8 years before moving to the Math and Science Division. For the past 29 years, Ms. Nieto has served as an assistant in the Math and Science Division at Valle Verde. During this time, she worked for a number of division chairs and deans. As the college expanded, Ms. Nieto's roles shifted, but she has remained a loyal and dedicated member of our community. Her consistent presence in the division office has been a major strength of the division and has allowed it to run efficiently and without pause. Ms. Nieto is the consummate professional and was always willing to assist faculty, staff, and students alike. Her friendly and caring personality will be missed in the division office and throughout the college. Ms. Nieto plans to care for her husband and spend time visiting her 3 sons and 9 grandchildren. Congratulations and thank you for your service.
37 years. 37 years. That's all right. Congratulations. I started in Rome. Congratulations and thank you for your service. My daughter. What a small world.
Somebody should tell Pam that we're having a meeting. Yeah, well, whatever.
Item 1.7.2, Ms. Vanessa Luna Marquez, Program Manager, Mothers Against Drunk Driving, West Texas, El Paso, will make a presentation thanking Dr. Sarata and members of the Board of Trustees for the support of their program throughout the years.
Good evening, welcome.
Good evening. Thank you for having us. I'm joined today by Angelica Lomeli. She's our Victim Services Specialist and President and Board of Trustees. We wanted to just thank you on behalf of the organization Mothers Against Drunk Driving for the wonderful years and decades of your support to our organization, for allowing us to host some of our events and different programs throughout your beautiful campuses throughout El Paso. So we just wanted to formally thank you with a small token of our appreciation, and we have small tokens for each one of you to say thank you.
Thank you, that's very kind of you, thank you. Sorry, everybody. That's a chief.
See, he was the president, the chair of the board when we first started.
Oh, he was when you first started?
See, ¿verdad? Turi was the chair when we started.
Oh, yeah.
So he's from
Two
here.
of his kids got killed by a
I thought one. Ay, how sad. Y ella es la esposa. Is she the wife? Where'd he go?
Item 1.7.3, representatives from the County of El Paso will make a presentation regarding the adoption of the 2016 prevailing wage rates as adopted by the County Commissioners Court.
Good evening, thank you for being here.
Yes, thank
Two
you.
meetings in a row.
Good afternoon, Chair Fierro, members of the board, Dr. Zarata. Michael Martinez with the County of El Paso. In your backup and the presentation that we're going to see today is the same presentation that went to the Commissioners Court over prevailing wages. Now I'll go ahead and get started with that. So just to give you an idea of where we're going to go, the roadmap's going to be some background. The background prevailing wage rate survey, the survey results, Commissioners Court's recommendations at the end of the results, and the committee's final results that were recommended. The background for the committee itself, the mission of the 2016 Prevailing Wage Committee was to update the job classifications from the previous prevailing wage survey that was submitted. Every 4 years, the survey is updated to reflect the current wage rates or the living wage that exists within the community for federally and other qualifying projects for prevailing wage. The other item that follows prevailing wage is Davis-Bacon. Davis-Bacon is the federal requirements for funding that we would follow if a prevailing wage survey was not adopted. Prevailing wage survey rates and voting structures basically occur within a committee that was established. Via statute, the county is allowed to establish a prevailing wage committee that creates the survey. In doing so, they created a voting structure. That voting structure was created of different entities from the private sector, the public sector, which included contractors, government entities, which included the school districts, the EPCC, the other municipalities, as well as the hospital district. And it also included labor forces, which did include some union members. Those three voting blocks basically created the survey voting structure, which allowed for mean, median, or mode average for the survey information to be collected. And that's kind of what you saw here today. The voting committee actually selected the average, and that's the data that was compiled that was brought back. If there's any questions, please let me know and I'll go ahead and stop and explain some more information. The survey criteria in order to fit into the survey was that a project had to be conducted within El Paso County, whether it was a prevailing wage survey project, whether it was a public project, private project. All of those projects were included in the survey data so that we could get a much better and wider range of data for the evaluation. In the past, there was only a small amount of data, so you didn't get a true picture of what was actually occurring. Projects also had to be completed within the given time frame, and that was January 2014 through December 2015. So if there was any projects that happened within that time period, we requested them. And the way that we requested them was through an open records request to all entities. So the city, the county, all school districts, all government entities received those open records requests for projects that fell within this time. And we basically compiled that data as staff with the county and created our survey via that information. The third and probably the most important criteria for the survey was certified payroll. In order for the project to count as part of the survey, we had to receive certified payroll on all of those projects. As many of you know, certified payroll is basically the payroll function that comes back, or the report that comes back on projects that justifies what the classifications are that are working on those projects and how much those individuals are actually making. Just some data about the actual survey itself. We mailed about 388 surveys. That was about 87% of our total surveys. Electronically, we submitted about 57 surveys, which was about 13%, looking at a total of about 445%. There's some more data on here that you can take a look at, but I think the most important part is actually the percentage that we received back. In the past, the committee had only received about 7 to 8% of the surveys that they had sent out. We aggressively went after companies this time to return those items, and actually this year's committee has been the largest than any other committee, so that we could get the buy-in and so that we could get the return on investment of the survey. And you'll see that roughly 37 and 25% of those surveys that came back is where we were looking at, which is a huge increase from previous years. These are the actual survey results. The survey results for both heavy highway and building. You'll see some actual dramatic increases. There are some that look to be 21% increase, 34% increases, even 110% increases, and then you see some losses. Now, significant numbers when you look at the ratio of how they've gone up over time. Some have gone up over $1 or $2. Some have actually doubled from $10, $15 to $25, $30. And the reason that we're comfortable with these numbers is because of the large net that we cast for different projects. We got numbers that actually leveled out some of our previous classifications. So we're confident behind the data. We do realize that there's outliers with not 100% of the surveys being returned, and there are some of these items that have been inflated, but we still stand behind the data that supports the majority of the increases. With all of that being done, the committee then took its recommendations to the Commissioners Court. On October 3rd, 2016, there was a recommendation made to approve the survey in its entirety. The court actually requested that the committee do a couple of things before approving. They first wanted to only increase classifications with increases. And the second part was to look at those that had dropped below $10, and they wanted to create a minimum wage, so to speak, for prevailing wage. In identifying the classification that dropped below $10, that was fence erectors in this case, they created a $10 minimum wage. And I can speak a little bit more on that. The commissioners are actually looking at a $10 minimum wage for prevailing wage only that will continue to move forward. That was at the request of the court. So that'll be their internal policy that they adopt. The third part was that the committee recommend and look at Davis-Bacon for 2012, and they look at all other options for increasing those rates to see which one was higher, lower, and that we give the better wage out of those two comparisons. The final increases that were looked at, the drywall finisher and tapers increased up to $14 because the 2012 wage was actually higher than the 2014 survey. The elevator installers and the repairers actually went up in 2012 and went down in 2016. So there was we reverted back to the 2012 prices. The floor layers, again, that was a price that was higher in 2012. In 2016, you had you had a higher payment for roofers. All of this data can be correlated back to a lot of the federal jobs that were happening then on Fort Bliss that are not currently happening now. Because the wage rate and Davis-Bacon established a higher prevailing wage at that moment in time versus the local market at this time, that's where we saw our difference. And that's what explains those differences in price and why they dropped. So what all of the members of the committee actually said, and this includes private and public contractors, this includes labor, and this includes the government entities, is that we should keep the living wage the same. And that's why we presented those items to the committee. You'll also notice down at the bottom, the 2016s that changed for the 2012 prevailing base. Those also increased as well. Electricians, excavator operators, and mechanics. The recommendation at the time was then for the Commissioners Court to adopt the remaining classifications as approved by the committee as recommended, and they did so. And with that, we ended up with your current rate structure that was adopted. That rate structure has now been adopted by El Paso Independent School District. It's been adopted by Canutillo Independent School District. I'll actually be at a meeting tomorrow for the city of El Paso during their review of this survey. And we're working with the hospital district to look at adopting. We're working with them just as we worked with your group as well. And with that, I'll take any questions or.
Well, thank you, Mr. Martinez. Does anybody have any questions for Ms. Solis?
I think something that's come up at our end is just how does the county monitor, failure to comply or non-compliance issues, and I think that's an important for us to understand
Yes,
as
ma'am.
a taxing.
Government entities have different ways of doing this throughout their own systems. The county specifically has a process in place that includes almost a memo form. So if we have a project that's qualified, you're gonna see submission of certified payroll every pay period. What the county does is they spot check each and every payroll, and they basically go through the payroll over the life of the project and identify whether all of those classifications are compared accurately. So they may do 3 1 week, 5 another, 7 another, but they're over the course of the life of the project, they're making sure that all of the classifications are pairing up. If there's any, if there's ever an issue where they don't match up, they bring it to the attention of the contractor, and they handle it that way. If it needs to escalate, then the county themselves and the public entities themselves have the ability legally to alter those payments. And so we've never gotten to that point before. We've always obviously worked it out with the contractor, but you do have that as a legal right. Other entities use software specific, where they enter it into the system, they review it, and they run a report and verify it that way. It's really dependent on your operational size and what you want as an organization and how you feel most comfortable with it.
Okay, excellent.
Mr. Martinez, you said if a project qualifies, are there certain projects that don't qualify?
Correct. So we listed those 3 criteria within the survey data. So, and I just want to make sure I understand your question. That qualified for the survey or that qualify in
Okay,
general?
you were referring to the survey, not to the,
Correct.
okay. You answered my question. Thank
Okay.
you. Anybody else have any other questions? You know, Ms. Martinez, I gotta tell you, this has been a wonderful exercise for us as a whole. It's opened our eyes on a lot opportunities for us as a board, opportunities for us as a district, and thank you very much for your time. Thank you for being here, 2 meetings in a row.
Well, I appreciate being here, for you guys letting me be here. And if you need anything else, please let us know, and the staff are more than willing to assist in any way possible.
And if we have any other questions, we'll reach out through Ms. Payne to you. So thank you again for being here.
Thank you so much.
He's never had claps before.
Item 1.7.4, Mr. Eric Pearson, President and CEO, El Paso Community Foundation, along with members of the Down Syndrome Coalition for El Paso, will present a check from the Buddy Walk proceeds, which will be used to fund scholarships for EPCC students.
Good evening. Welcome, Mr. Pearson. We've seen you more this year than,
I know, it's not a bad thing, you're not the school principal, so that's, I just wanted to just really introduce the Down Syndrome Coalition for El Paso. This is a history with the El Paso Community College, and it's a walk, it's the Buddy Walk, and it goes to scholarships to support your programs here for children with special needs. And just wanted to pass on and introduce Felipe Martinez, who's the president of the board.
welcome, Ms. Martinez.
Good evening, Felipe Martinez, President of the Down Syndrome Coalition for El Paso. The Buddy Walk, since its inception, was born here at EPCC, and we've actually taken it over the Down Syndrome Coalition, and we're proud to be a partner with EPCC, and we've been putting in a lot of work, making this Buddy Walk grow for our guys and girls, and we're just glad to be here and presenting this check.
Great. Thank you for being here.
So this is twice the amount that we were able to do last year, and so as we continue, we're hoping to grow it to twice again next year. Is that in the minutes?
Duly recorded.
Just for the audience in the back who can't see it, it's $8,410.87. So that means next year it'll be 32,000.
Yes, of course you do. No, she will go sit down and get to work. All right, I like it. Hard work. Hi. Thank you so
Yeah. Bye. Thank you.
Oh, great.
Absolutely. She loves the sparkly stuff. She loves your jacket.
Thank you, thank you. Mr. Lawry. Item 1.7.5, optional presentations will be made by the presidents of the Classified Staff Association, the Professional Staff Association, the Faculty Association, and the Student Government Association.
Anybody? Oh, no, there we go. Hi there, good evening.
Good evening. My name is Leticia Urenda. I'm president of the Professional Staff Association. Professional Staff Association has mixed feelings regarding Nancy Tharp's retirement. She was our PSA secretary. She did an excellent job. She worked on our web page. She managed all our events. I guess she already left, but we did honor her at another function, and we just wanted to make mention of that. She had been our secretary since 2014, and I'm sorry to see her leave, but I also wanted to say that I already got a replacement. And so we have Michelle Chavez, who works at Diversity, who will step in up to August 31st. So I'm very glad about that as well. We also, PSA had our annual dinner, our annual celebration, and of that function, we go ahead and collect fees, or we collect for the dinner, and of that money, any money that's overage on that, we plan to use that for our scholarships, which are the scholarships that we give every fall. And hopefully we'll get a good chunk. If not more students, the amount of the scholarship will increase. So we will be reporting about that later on. We're also very pleased to announce that Dr. Serrata provided us with this, a request that we had made regarding the sick leave pool, and we have disseminated that information to our PSA members, and we're very happy with the outcome of that reporting. For those that don't know, it's reporting of people that have been ill and requested sick leave. We just wanted to know how that amount of hours was being used and the usage by the category, and we did get the report. Thank you, Dr. Serrata. On another note, PSA still has concerns regarding the evergreen compensation. We have members within our association that still feel uneasy about the results, and we're working with VP Josette Shaughnessy, and we continue to meet with Dr. Serrata. If not on a monthly basis, we keep trying to get back regarding this outstanding incidents that we have with employees at the college. We just wanted also to make mention that some of the PSA members that have brought up concerns regarding this evergreen study have indicated that they have searched our local market, and they have identified several positions where the salaries are not comparable. In other words, they're looking for job elsewhere. They find that the position that they still hold now has a higher salary. So we're trying to work with those outstanding items. We also wanted to make sure that because we do have employees that leave the college, we want to make sure that the employees we currently have, that they don't move on, that they are not demoralized, that we give them an opportunity to stay here with the college. Each individual at the college has a lot of skills, knowledge, and experience, and we want to make sure that there is no staff exodus because of that. That demoralizes our work community. The employees of the college have worked for a number of years, and we still consider with this study that we're not being grandfathered in. And we are advocates of using the longevity, years of service, in the analogy of our adjusted salary. Longevity by position numbers and not changes of title and upgrade should be used during this study, during this analysis. If you have any questions?
No, thank you very much. Anybody have questions? Come on. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, welcome.
Good evening, Chair Fierro, members of the board, and President Serrata. We're so thankful for the opportunity to be here. I'm Crystal Tucker. I'm the president of the Student Government Association, and with me today I have Senator Mariscal, Senator Danica Contreras, and Senator Carrillo. And we just wanted to give you a little bit of an update of what we've been working on thus far. The last time we spoke, we had told you we were going to Austin to speak to the legislators, and we did do that. We feel that our concerns were heard, and we're grateful for the opportunity to have been able to go there and speak on behalf of the students and the college about the concerns that we have. We've also continued our work on the food pantry. We have almost fully stocked it, all with just donations from students and clubs and organizations within the college. We are finalizing our procedures manual, and then we can officially open the pantry. Even though we're not officially open, we did have a student come to us that needed help, and we were able to help the student already. So we're looking forward to the grand opening so that we can be able to serve the rest of the students. We, at the last board meeting, it was brought to our attention that some of the students had expressed concern about their safety, fear for their safety in the evening classes. We have been diligently speaking with many students in the campuses, and we've come to the conclusion that the only concern that they have is that there needs to be more lighting around the parking lots. And we have our Trans Mountain Student Union coming on March 27th, and we look forward to seeing you all there for the grand opening. We also have a meeting this Wednesday with the Mission del Paso campus dean to speak about a possible student union at that location. So we're excited to be able to get hopefully a student union at every campus in the future. And we are also preparing for our state competitions where we compete with over 50 colleges around Texas, and we're hoping to bring home as many prizes as we did last year. So wish us good luck. And we are also working with, we're having efforts on trying to make student orientation mandatory. A lot of students seem to be lost and confused when they don't come to the orientation, and so we're trying to make it a mandatory thing just like they have at the universities. So that's one of the other things that we're working on. And that's it.
Just give us a brief synopsis of all the prizes you won at the last state competition.
Wow, let me see if I can remember. I know we won Advisor of the Year. We won Most Professional School. We won second place in the scrapbook competition. We won, I believe, second place in the poem. I know there's more, but I can't remember. So we're hoping to come home with the gold.
Well, congratulations and good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Item 1.8, communications, none. Item 1.9, Board of Trustee business. Item 1.9.1, the Board of Trustees will deliberate on authorizing the execution of a contract with the Department of Elections of El Paso County, Texas, in an amount not to exceed $80,000 to conduct elections for Districts 1 and 7 and to appoint the recommended election personnel, Central Counting Station personnel, early voting judges and alternate judges, election day judges and alternate judges, early voting sites, mobile voting sites, and election day polling sites, and to adopt any other orders necessary to conduct such election.
Move to approve. Second.
Under discussion, Pam brought to my attention that there was a couple of changes, and they're just minor changes and mostly just verifying the location. They were set up as tentative, and that information is available online as backup. Okay, call the question, please.
Mrs. Robles.
Aye.
Mr. Uxer.
Aye.
Ms. Solis.
Aye.
Mrs. Quintanilla.
Aye.
Dr. Graham.
Aye.
Mr. Fierro.
Aye.
Item 1.9.3, the Board of Trustees will deliberate and consider the support and adoption of the 2016 prevailing wage rates as adopted by the County Commissioners Court.
I make a motion to table 1.9.3.
Second.
Mrs. Robles,
Aye.
Mr. Uxer,
Aye.
Ms. Solis,
Aye.
Mrs. Quintanilla,
Aye.
Dr. Graham,
Aye.
Mr. Fierro.
Aye.
Item 1.10, Board Reports. Item 1.10.1, Treasurer's Report. None. Item 1.10.2, President's Report. Item 1.10.2.1, Dr. Sarata will update the Board of Trustees and audience on recent events that have transpired at the college.
Chair Fierro, members of the board, a pleasure to update you on some of the items that we've been engaged in at the college. The Texas Association of Community Colleges held a legislative luncheon in Austin on February the 6th, followed by an advocacy workshop. Would like to thank Ms. Solis and Judge Haggerty, who both made time to attend. The following day, Community College Day was held at the Capitol, and would like to, our student government, our SJ, who's already gone, SJ, they're studying for class. They were there. They did a great job of representing the institution. So kudos to them in informing our legislature of the needs of the institution. In addition, the Texas Tribune hosted an event featuring representatives, our very own Cesar Blanco from our community college district, as well as Brooks Landgraf. In Odessa on Friday, February the 17th, Chair Fierro and I attended. Representative Blanco did a great job in representing our community and his values with regards to the state budget and other items. Members of the Board of Trustees and I attended El Paso Days in Austin. I thank the board for taking time out of their schedules to attend. We had the opportunity to meet with numerous state legislators and officials, all of the El Paso delegation, in addition to Chairman Seliger, who's chair of the Higher Ed Committee in the Senate, as well as many other House members who will play a critical role as we try to mitigate the cuts that are proposed at the state level with regards to our state budget. The radiography program, that was always hard, received continuing accreditation of the associate degree in the program. The Joint Review Committee on Education and Radiologic Technology reviewed the report, and the program received maintenance of accreditation for a period of 8 years. Congratulations to Crystal Thompson, our program coordinator, faculty, and Dr. Paula Mitchell for receiving the maximum years of a program accreditation. VP Smith and his team, congratulations. In addition, the Pharmacy Technician Accreditation Commission accepted the midterm progress report submitted on October 20th, 2016. The EPCC Pharmacy Technician Training Program received continued accreditation without limitation or until the commission recommends further action. Congratulations to Dr. Nader Rasei, our program coordinator, all the faculty, again, Mr. Smith, Dr. Mitchell, and all others that were involved. Our nursing program continues to excel. We're proud to report that the vocational nursing NCLEX PN student exam pass rate at the Mission Del Paso campus is at an all-time high of 96.15%. And the MEEP, the multiple entry exit program, is at 91.67%. This places the college above the 2016 national average pass rate, which is at 83.73%. Both of these programs have received a commendation from the Texas Board of Nursing. First and foremost, congratulations to our students who are well on their way to pursuing a successful nursing career. Special thanks and much appreciation goes to our nursing faculty who continue to do great work and are instrumental in ensuring that our nursing students succeed and are ready for that exam. Congratulations to Dean Gail Meager as well for her leadership and Vice President Smith. And finally, the college will be observing spring break March 13th through the 17th. And that concludes my report, Chair Fierro.
Thank you, Dr. Sarata. As Pam is getting ready to read the next item, Ms. Robles, I need to mention that Evan Smith, the editor of Texas Tribune, was giving a presentation to the El Paso delegation. And he says, you know, I know El Paso so well, I can throw out Belen Robles' name.
Item 1.11, consent docket. This includes items 3.2 and 8.1.
Move to approve?
Second?
Mrs. Robles.
Aye.
Mr. Uxer.
Aye.
Mrs. Quintanilla.
Aye.
Dr. Graham. Mr. Fierro.
Aye.
Item 2.1, the following policy is presented for second reading and/or final approval. 4.06.01, investments policy.
Move to approve?
Second.
Mrs. Robles.
Aye.
Mr. Uxer.
Aye.
Mrs. Quintanilla.
Aye.
Dr. Graham.
Aye.
Mr. Fierro.
Aye.
Item 3.1, full-time institutionally funded actions.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Any questions? No. Pam?
Mrs. Robles.
Aye.
Mr. Uxer.
Aye.
Mrs. Quintanilla.
Aye.
Dr. Graham.
Aye.
Mr. Fierro.
Aye.
Item 3.3, information items, no action is required. Item 4.1, consideration and deliberation on the approval of the renewal of an annual contract with Ad Astra Information Systems LLC in the amount of $52,600.
Motion to approve item 4.1 and 4.2?
Second. Second.
Item 4.2, consideration and deliberation on the approval to establish a fee not to exceed $20 per enrollment for open educational resources course sections.
Questions?
I have a question.
Dr. Graham?
Do we have a plan where we, if this is successful, it's going to expand?
Dr. Graham, yes, we do. We've done a number of faculty development sessions getting ready for this project, and we've seen great interest in providing the service to our students. And so we anticipate that this will grow quite a bit and be a game changer for our students in the cost of education.
I hope so. How many sections more or less are we going to pilot or start with?
I'm not quite sure of the number. It's in the neighborhood of 10. And the little project that we're working on with our Texas colleagues have us developing an entire degree plan to be OER accessible by the end of next year.
Great. I think it's a step in the right direction.
Kudos to Dr. Julie Penley for her role. She's taking the lead on the effort, and I know she's in the audience, so thank you, Julie.
Thank you. I know that we hear a lot about the high cost of textbooks for the students, and, you know, that really puts a burden on them. But
Absolutely.
this is long awaited. Thank you.
Mrs. Robles.
Aye.
Mr. Uxer.
Aye.
Mrs. Quintanilla.
Aye.
Dr. Graham.
Aye.
Mr. Fierro.
Aye.
Item 5.1, consideration and deliberation on the approval to award a contract to AO General Contractors Incorporated for the construction of a fire lane at the Valle Verde campus in the amount not to exceed $168,937.
Move to approve 5.1 and 5.2.
Second.
Item 5.2, consideration and deliberation on the approval to award a contract to Pride General Contractors LLC for the construction of additional handicap fire exit stairs and ramps at the ASC A and B building in the amount not to exceed $61,600.
Any questions?
I have a
Dr. Graham?
question on page 62 on the explanation. It allows for entrance and emergency exits. Do we have an exit, or is he talking about an exit? Sir?
In regards to the fire ramps, ma'am?
Right, where you have the explanation and it talks about on page 62, the project provides additional wheelchair access to the buildings. And it goes on, the installation of the ramps will allow entrance and emergency access from the rear as well, or is?
Yes,
So
ma'am.
you can come in through there? That-
Well, they can both enter and exit from them. Currently, the only handicap ramp we have is in the front of this building.
Correct.
So with it, since we're building out in the back, we need an additional one, excuse me.
So that they could come in and out through there?
Yes, ma'am.
on
During
wheelchair.
emergencies.
Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome.
Any other questions? Okay, Pam, we're ready.
Mrs. Robles,
Aye.
Mr. Uxer,
Aye.
Mrs. Quintanilla,
Aye.
Dr. Graham,
Aye.
Mr. Fierro.
Aye.
Item 6.1, consideration and deliberation on the acceptance of a grant award from the Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board under the Carl D. Perkins Basic Grant for Career and Technology Education, plus a mid-year grant toward adjustment for fiscal year 2016-2017 in the total amount of $705,331.
Move to approve 6.1 and 6.2.
Second.
Item 6.2, consideration and deliberation on the acceptance of a grant award from the Texas Mutual Insurance Company in the amount of $100,000.
Any questions? Yes, Mr. Uxer?
Reading this, it says to acceptance of a grant to provide program improvement, curriculum development of new or enhanced career technical programs, purchase of instructional equipment and supplies, and it seems rather broad and could almost be construed as a slush fund.
The Carl Perkins funding is federal dollars that are allocated to each institution through the state based on the number of students enrolled in career and tech programs. So it facilitates us improving technology and doing professional development for faculty and folks that work in those programs.
Is there any other focus other than let's just improve things and make it look better?
That's pretty much the focus. There is some funding for personnel in there as well,
And
counseling
travel.
for CTE students and travel for professional development.
But there's no specific targeted areas, like I'm going to improve this, or I'm going to add that?
Actually, there are. Each year, the deans get together and provide lists of opportunities for professional development as well as funding for equipment that are going to be targeted that year. And those have to be approved through the grants office through the state.
Just out of curiosity, do you have any idea what new career technical program might be on that list?
I think probably the latest new program that had access to these funds is the Renewable Energy Program at the Advanced Technology Center.
Okay.
And that helps the college offset the cost of equipment for the innovative programs that are
Yeah,
launched.
actually, there's a
right?
lot we couldn't do if we
Right.
didn't have access to this funding, absolutely.
Any other questions? Okay, Pam, we're ready.
Mrs. Robles,
Aye.
Mr. Uxer,
Aye.
Mrs. Quintanilla,
Aye.
Dr. Graham,
Aye.
Mr. Fierro.
Aye.
Item 6.3, consideration and deliberation on the acceptance of a grant award from the City of El Paso in the amount of $37,000.
Move to approve.
Second.
Questions? Okay, Pam?
Mrs. Robles,
Aye.
Mr. Uxer,
Aye.
Mrs. Quintanilla,
Aye.
Dr. Graham,
Aye.
Mr. Fierro.
Aye.
Item 7.1, consideration and deliberation on the approval of continuing education tuition rates for new courses.
Move to approve 7.1 and 7.2.
Second.
Item 7.2, consideration and deliberation on the approval of continuing education tuition rates for revised courses.
Any questions? Okay. Pam, we're ready?
Mrs. Robles?
Aye.
Mr. Uxer?
Aye.
Mrs. Quintanilla?
Aye.
Dr. Graham?
Aye.
Mr. Fierro.
Aye.
Item 9.0, unfinished business.
Done?
We're going into
Ready for executive, please.
Time is 7:01. The Board of Trustees will recess into executive session.